Welcome to our interface presentation. Throughout this presentation you will see aspects covered such as disability, usability, navigation and aesthetics. We will show you that all these elements combined can bring together a nice clean interface that's easy to use in a video game. Two games used are Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2. We will compare these to find the improvements of both games and also the areas that need to be improved.
When designing our game interface, disability requirements need to be considered. Here are some of those requirements for the following disabilities. People with visual impairments. Visual impairment limits visual access, so the use of sufficient colour contrast for colour blindness people will be needed. Both Borderlands 1 and 2 allow the users to adjust the contrast settings to the user's preferred setting. People with hearing impairment. Those with hearing impairment can experience hard of hearing and will need access to audio controls to raise and lower volume. People with dyslexia. They need to have use of animations. There are a lot of animations used in Borderlands 1 and 2, both of which allow the user to see what he/she is perhaps equipping as a weapon, or even see what's in their game backpack with visual image of that weapon or item they have equipped or stored in reserve. They also require interfaces with graphical information in order to support textual context. The use of graphical information as well as textual can be seen when looking at the inventory menu again. When needing to look at how much ammo is in reserve, the user can look for an ammo clip that represents ammo. A number shows below this image that shows how much ammo is left in the inventory, for example. People with autism need to have graphical interface in order to enable a sense of imagination and remembrance. Borderlands 1 and 2 does this, for example. Seeing the objective menu and having access to use of various weapons allows the user to equip him or herself ready for the next mission. Reading out his or her objective and picturing in one's mind what possible dangers they might run into and then equipping themselves ready shows that in Borderlands 1 and 2 have very much done this.
Moving on to aesthetics. When you use a first sees interface, they are presented with a layout. This is the first impressions of the page. If the page is visually pleasing, then this will entice the viewer to come and explore the interface further and look at the content. However, in this now more modern age, designs are very simplistic. These involve bigger images and little text. However, if there are too many images and no text, then this will be a bit vague for the user and they won't really know where to go or how to get where they want. But on the other side, if there's too much text, then this will confuse the user. From my experience, if I see a website or a game menu with too much text, then I don't read all the information fully. Therefore, I feel I may lose out on some of the content. And maybe this could be some of the key content that I need to carry on. This means that you need to provide a good balance between image, visuals and text. There are too many user interfaces that sacrifice good navigation and usability for visuals. By this I mean that the artistic flair is too much. Headings and titles are too fancy for the user's eyes. Also, because of this, the layout of the page may be a bit too contemporary that you will find yourself being thrown in one direction when you want to be in another. So this leaves the user in a site or a menu where they find themselves stuck and they can't leave. This does not provide a good user interface. Borderlands 1 has got a very simple looking page. All the text is clearly marked, but there may be a little bit too much on screen. This gives an information overload. From researching this game and actually using the interface physically, a lot of the information is text-based, and as you can see in the video, the text is quite small. Some text is also coloured the same as the background. This means that readability is not easy. If you have a visual impairment, then this will become a big issue. Icons are clearly marked, but also they're not just marked for the sake of being marked, they work with the colour scheme of all the menus. Yellow and blue seems to run through all the way here. Borderlands 2 also has the same colour theme as its predecessor because those worked really well. The thing that they have changed in this one is they have got rid of a lot of the text. It's very image based, but you also have the text here to give that extra information boost. This is a nice use of white space and also gives the user room to breathe and explore at their own choice. Everything is clearly marked and everything is easy to see. There are some issues with colouring though, and since there is no option for disabilities, you are stuck with these. Overall, the visual style has stayed the same between both games. The visual style is very nice, it's clean and easy to navigate. They have not sacrificed many things in the second game as the first. As I said earlier, the text, there is too much text on screen and not enough visual aids. And so on the second one they've improved and they've bumped up the amount of visual aids and decreased the amount of text, adding more white space. Actually, even playing the game, the experience of the game is improved when using this menu. You're not taken away from the game environment, and so therefore, when you're using the interface, you don't seem like you've been taken away from the action. This is a nice integration between gameplay and interface. All headings are clearly marked, and all controls are clearly marked so that it's easy to navigate around the menu. Borderlands 2 has many improvements upon the first game, so this increases navigation, usability, and aesthetics. Moving on to navigation and accessibility, Borderlands 1 provided a very simple layout for the user to use. Considering this is the first game in the series, it needed to be as simple as possible. All icons above the menus are clearly laid out. They involve small images that give an indication into what content you are looking at. This makes them memorable for the player so they can come into the menus and use them very quickly and painlessly. Everything that you select is highlighted so it's easier for you to get a grasp on what you are actually looking at. You are given small indications into what buttons you should press in order to navigate through the menu. Down on the bottom of the first game, you can see that they are quite faint against the background and hard to see. On the second game, they are much more highlighted and in a different colour. They stand out more, and so you can see them easier, so you can navigate through the menus a lot easier. Accessing the menu is quick, and moving through the different slides is very easy. This helps the user to get in and out as quick as possible and get back to playing their game. The main change between navigating from the first game and the second game is that the second game actually provides a much more smooth animation of the menu. This helps to really emphasize which part of the menu you are focusing on and which parts of information you actually need to be looking at. The first game throws everything at you at once, so you may get confused. This will stop progress through the menus and even may make you quit the menu. You'll lose on information, and this is not good for the user experience. Some in-game items, such as guns, have got different coloured headings. There's a yellow, a red and a green and a purple. The problem is, with the purple, it blends in with the background too much. A colleague of mine said that they didn't even notice the headings to start with when they first looked. We had to point it out to him and he could then see it, but still only then it was very vague. Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed our presentation.